iSteve is Funny or Die's comedic look at the life of Steve Jobs. I'm doing the face, the thing he does.
One more thing.
You want to hear my story? I wouldn't even know where to start.
If the man made computers simple, the entire world would listen to him.
They say you're a renegade, a rebel, one of a kind, a maverick, a bit of a loose cannon, anti-establishment, a free thinker, genius of sorts, an engineer, craftsman, poet, and a prophet rolled into one.
I just had the most incredible vision of my life. The first microcomputing system. Can you imagine the possibilities, Woz? The computing revolution at your fingertips, Woz!
Hold on!
Woz, do you have it?
I was really looking forward to iSteve as soon as I first heard about it, because all we knew was that Funny or Die was working on not a feature length, I think they said it was going to be like 60 to 80 minutes long. It ended up being about 80 minutes. Biopic about Steve Jobs, and they were rushing it just to be the first.
The first.
Yeah, that's
the first
it.
people to have a Steve Jobs.
Is hilarious. Now, they wrote it in a couple of days. They shot it in a couple of days. It stars Justin Long, who, of course, played Mac in the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC ads, which is also awesome. And we saw the poster. It was horrifying. Look, it's absolutely terrifying. And so, yeah, I think it's safe to say we were pretty pumped for it.
Yeah, and it turns out that it is a pretty noble and hilarious effort.
Yeah, it is very fun. I love fixing the glasses like they're actually real. This is bullshit. It's not real. It's fictional, like the movie. Obviously, it's not accurate for the most part, although there are some spots where we were impressed with the details, because we've both read the Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson, right?
Yes.
Well, I know I have.
I have as well. I know how to read.
Okay, good. This actually, once in a while, and I really appreciated when it gave some legitimate details.
Nice nods.
But then right after that, it would go into something
ridiculous.
completely ridiculous.
But it was great. I loved it.
I thought it was really funny. You know, I gotta say, I wouldn't say it was like slapstick, but it was kind of in the vein of an Airplane type of movie with less gags. I mean, it was definitely not the same ratio of gags.
But very much poking fun of itself and tongue-in-cheek.
And very self-aware. I'm fixing them again. I don't know why I'm doing this.
If you're like an Apple, fanboy, or you're on the message boards, you followed Steve Jobs' legacy, and if you're a Star Wars nerd, all this kinds of things just kind of worked so well in this little thing.
Or if you're a fan of like wacky editing, zany sort of stuff like that, because there's a bunch of weird stuff in it that I feel like it's not exactly the sense of humor that everybody is going to connect with.
No.
But it connected with us for sure.
This will be very specific.
Cracking up.
I was laughing my butt off.
Censored. Aside from it being very funny, I actually thought that it had a couple of emotional bits, primarily with Woz, Jorge Garcia.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was great. We'll get to the acting more in a minute, but I thought that, maybe in the second half, not so much, but in the first half, I legitimately felt bad for Woz. And in general, I would say the first half is probably funnier, and, there's more laughs more often, I would say, than in the second half. In the second half, when it gets to like the Smashing Pumpkins and stuff, I feel like it drops off a little bit.
Got a little too ridiculous.
Yeah, but as far as the acting goes, obviously it's just a goof, and there's people wearing horrible wigs and
Everyone
stuff like
had
that. Nobody looked or sounded like each other for the most part. I mean,
great.
Vaguely, I would say Woz was the closest, Jorge Garcia.
A lot of great cameos, though.
So, some funny cameos. Kyle Mooney, nice to see him in there. But I would say Justin Long was hilarious. I think he is a really great actor and really funny. And the parts where he got intense, he was legitimately intense.
He kind of was. It was kind of weird.
You got Bill Gates being like old through the whole thing.
Yeah, they had like this weird thing between Bill and Melinda Gates, and they were like, it was so weird.
There was a lot of weird stuff. They kind of just skipped out on his personal love life too. They just cut that completely.
Because whatever.
But I would say as far as the acting goes, everybody I thought did a very good job. For what it's worth, obviously. Keep in mind it's a free, which by the way, you're getting pretty much a whole movie for free, which is awesome. But for a free, goofy movie that was made in a couple of days, even not just it was made in a couple of days, it's better than some comedies I've seen that are like legitimate.
Good writing.
Yeah. For
stuff.
what it's worth. For what it's worth, it was pretty good. But I did write down in my notes a few things that I would just like to go through. On my iPhone, yes, although it is broken, I apologize. R.I.P. Steve, rest in peace. I said that twice, I guess, because R.I.P. means rest in peace. But
the only person I pray to.
First of all, Justin Long being in the movie played by somebody else.
When they went into the Apple ad.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Was great.
And the Jeepers Creepers thing.
He's
like, Jeepers Creepers. And then he's like, where'd you get those people?
Oh my god.
Brilliant. The lamp inspiring Pixar rather than like the lamp coming after.
There's like Adelgo and Ants references. It's
so
incredible.
Good. The turtleneck being a gift. And then telling him because he's like from the future or something like that.
Oh my god.
The virtual sex scene was hilarious. When he shuts down and gets rebooted and it's not explained.
That was totally weird.
That's great.
As obviously it gets very out there.
But that was great. I love the fact. What was I saying? I was like, I hope they don't explain it. I hope they don't explain it. And just kept going.
Yeah.
When he said the Apple II was modeled after Jaws 2 because he said, what did he say? It was like sleeker or something
I was
like
dying.
that.
It was
Oh my
just
god.
ridiculous.
The extremely slow crossfade. I had to write it down when it went from Commodore to the party.
That's just
right?
some of the great editing. Yeah.
Why
it was
did that
hilarious.
happen? That was legitimately uncomfortable.
It was, but it was
I was
hilarious.
upset. I was upset.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
And
that.
at the party, the last thing I wrote down here, the terrible lip syncing. There's just a lot
We're
of
laughing talking
like
about
just
it.
goofy stuff. Oh, I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna have to watch it
I'm
again.
gonna show my friend.
I'm gonna have to show it to somebody else for sure
Yeah.
because it's just the right type of humor for us. Maybe not for everybody, but you know, it did kind of have that airplane vibe where we just looked at each other multiple times, like, what the hell?
If you're invested in the tech world even a little bit, there's so much stuff to find funny in
Yeah,
here.
I feel like if you go into it expecting it to be legit, although it was, you know, it felt legit in the
some
sense
ways
that
it
it
was
didn't
legit.
feel cheap, in my
No,
opinion.
it
Even
didn't.
though it was like terrible wigs and stuff like that, it felt like that was just part of it. It felt very natural.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would say if you don't go in expecting something that's going to be like legit, knock your socks off, then I think you'll enjoy it. If you go in with a little bit too high of expectations, you might be like, this is dumb. And it is dumb, but it's a really good dumb. And so I have to say,
What?
I really enjoyed it.
I would say, yeah, worth the price of admission, especially if
Which
you're
was
into internet.
Which
stuff.
was
free.
free. So honestly, I would have probably paid for it, like on iTunes to rent it.
I'd give it
it's,
$1.99.
You know, I mean, it's almost an hour and a half. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd give it maybe a half price rental,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed it. So, Funny or Die, I applaud you on your first, I guess, sort of feature-ish length film. It definitely connected with me.
Do more, please.
Maybe not with everybody, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to more.
If you get it, you'll get it.
Yeah, definitely. So, iSteve, I say we give a firm handshake on iSteve, even though I think we already shook. Maybe we didn't. Maybe I'm imagining it.
We
Maybe I
will.
dreamed it. Please let us know in the comments what you thought of iSteve, and if you haven't checked it out, it is available by clicking the link in the info for free, like we said. Let us know what you were expecting. Maybe did you have higher expectations and not like it? Did you have low expectations and think it was great? Or, you know, I had high expectations, not high expectations, but I was looking forward to it, and I really liked it. So,
Me too.
You know, maybe all across the board, let us know what you thought. Let us know what you thought of the acting. Let us know what your favorite part was, because there are so many funny parts.
Your favorite weird, obscure reference.
Like a funny line or something like that.
Yeah.
I think Jeepers Creepers is up there. That's the part
So
we went
out
back
there.
and watched like 4 times. And I stood up and walked around
There's
because I was
some
laughing
moments,
so
yeah.
hard. But yeah, let us know anything you want about iSteve, and once you're done leaving a comment, feel free to click over here to see a couple of other things, such as my review of the Steve Jobs biography. Also, click along the bottom to go to our Facebook and Twitter, and if you want to see more reviews, you can click the logo to subscribe.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. I'm doing the Steve Jobs thing.
All right.
The future belongs to the outcasts, Woz, the rebels, like you and me.
Nothing matters to Steve Jobs except Steve Jobs!
Lest you eat the forbidden fruit and face banishment.
I built this company. All of my blood, my sweat, my tears went into every Apple product.